All right, we want to give all praise to Yahweh,
Hashem, Yahweh Shai.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, or GMS, and peace and blessings to the elect. This is Zakaria,
Ramya, Atazwan,
and we here to do a little lesson for the Akyam. What we want to hit is a lot of the old points of, like, as far as the wars and the things that are going on now. We're gonna kind of start off with World War I, and also hit some things that are going on now. So go ahead and get that first precept for me. Sirach 13:13.
Come, this is Sirach chapter 13, verse 13. Observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in peril of thy overthrowing.
So if you observing and you taking good heed, you'll understand that what's going on now is merely a part of what started with things like World War I. It's all linking together, and if you're watching it closely, you can tell that, hey, this is that time. That third woe is here, as it talks about in the scriptures. So if you observing the time, you can see that, and that'll have you even closer to the Most High, to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
When thou hearest these things, awake in thy sleep.
Awake in thy sleep. So as we go through, we're watching the news and we're watching and reading the articles and all that. We're seeing the times past, and we're also seeing the future prophecies that's coming. So it's a beautiful thing that everything is just flowing in that right order, and it's keeping us grounded and linked in these scriptures. Because to walk away at this point in time is, man, you might as well shoot yourself in the head. You might as well hang yourself from a light pole. Just get it over with quick. Because it's good. What the scriptures are truth. Everything that the scriptures talk about, it has come to pass. So that should tell you that the thing that is speaking about in the future, that's going to come to pass too.
That's right. If I could say this, while we're over here prophesying of these things that are happening throughout history according to scripture, according to prophecy, it is all things that are happening now. You see a constant repeat of it. Too, and that's why it's like this thing gives you history all in itself of these wars, the up and coming Third World War.
Did you get me? Did you finish, sir?
Yeah, that's it.
Revelation 9, start at 11. We're going to hit a piece of the First World War to show how a lot of what happened at that time led up to the points that we're seeing now. Go ahead.
This is Revelation chapter 9, starting at verse 11. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. Which
that person is a man that was alive during that time of World War I. His name is Kaiser Wilhelm. I believe it's Kaiser Wilhelm II. And that start from the top, Salakia.
That's fine. It's starting again at Revelation chapter 9, verse 11. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit.
And he was that angel of the bottomless pit. What's that bottomless pit? That bottomless pit is Europe, that land of Europe. Go ahead.
Whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. That name means destroyer. Verse 12. One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. So one woe is past. What I want to hit is a quick point on that first woe, and I believe these brothers are going to have points as far as what's going on now. So in that first woe, you had an agreement between France and England. It's called the Sykes-Picot Agreement. Now, what they were trying to do was divide the Middle East, right? I wish you could get a shot at the map, but you don't have to. The way the Middle East used to look, it wasn't all broken up into different countries, Iran, Afghanistan, Iraq. It was just one landmass, and they all went under that kind of religion. And I believe at first it was ran by the Ottoman Turks. So what they wanted to do, English, France, and Russia, what they wanted to do is get the Ottoman Turks out of the way. But they weren't able to do it through just their army, so they had to turn to the so-called Arab, or the Ishmaelites, to get their help. But the Ishmaelites only agreed to help them do it is if they left, just, okay, after we help y'all, y'all get the hell out of here.
But that's not what, obviously, with the so-called white man, it never goes down like that. Everything that he says, he has a hidden agenda behind it. So I'm going to go into this agreement real quick. The Sykes-Picot Agreement, officially known as the Asia Minor Agreement, was a secret agreement between the United Kingdom and France with the assent of the Russian Empire. The agreement defined their proposed spheres of influence and control in Southwest Asia. The agreement was based on the premise that the Triple Entente, when it says Triple Entente, that's those three powers that I just said, United Kingdom, France, and Russia, succeeded in defeating the Ottoman Empire during World War I. And what it's saying is they agreed, but only under the terms of you get the hell out of here. You don't stay here. You don't get to set up no camps. You get the hell out of here. After we help y'all, y'all are gone. And they said, yeah, okay, we'll do that. But like the so-called white man does, he got his hand. You remember when you was young, you used to, what was it? You used to cross your fingers and put them behind your back. That's what the so-called white man did. The agreement was based on the premise that the Triple Entente succeeded in defeating the Ottoman Empire during World War I. The negotiation of the treaty occurred between November 1915 and March 1916 and was signed in May of 1916. The deal was exposed to the public in Izvesta and Prada on 23rd of November of 1917, and the British Guardian, which is a newspaper, November 26th of 1917. The agreement is still mentioned when considering the region and its conflicts in the present day. So what's going on in the Middle East with all those wars and uproars, that started way back with World War I. So this was just a premise to what we see now. With these hidden agreements, you have this agreement, you have the Balfour Agreement, which, you know, we won't go into that. That'll take a whole nother video.
That started World War II.
So yeah, that was a little bit after World War I, and like the brother said, that started World War II. But this agreement, which you had when they talk about Lawrence of Arabia, and they had that movie Lawrence of Arabia. What Lawrence of Arabia did was go around to the so-called Arabs and enlist them to help the English defeat the Ottoman Turks. But like I said, the Arabs, the agreement was the Arabs said, well, if we help y'all, then y'all get the hell out of here. But what the France, Russia, and England did was, instead of honoring that agreement, they went behind their backs, the so-called Arab back, and set up this Sykes-Picot Agreement. So once the Ottoman Turks were defeated, they start carving up the Middle East, creating different countries.
That's right.
And then putting up puppet rulers, but we all know that story. That's, you know, that's been going on for a while. Go ahead.
I mean, like, because if anybody knows history, what was Iran? Iran was originally Persia.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, then these devils will change everything up throughout history, timelines, everything.
I'm gonna read a little bit more. The agreement is seen by many as a turning point in Western and Arab relations. It negated the UK's promises made to the Arabs. That's the so-called white man's MO. He's everybody's enemy, not just our nation, the nation of Israel, Yasser Allah. He's everybody's enemy. Everybody wants to see this so-called white man go down. Everybody's in an uproar. Everybody's mad as hell at what's going on. The so-called Arab, when you look at the map, you see Iran, Afghanistan. Everybody wants to see the so-called white man go down. Because all he's done is promote wickedness throughout the earth.
That's right.
The agreement is seen by many as a turning point in the Western and Arab relations. It negated the UK's promises made to the Arabs through Colonel T.E. Lawrence, which is that Lawrence of Arabia character, for a national Arab homeland in the area of Greater Syria, in exchange for their siding with the British forces against the Ottoman Empire. It has been argued that the geopolitical architecture founded by the Sykes-Picot Agreement disappeared in July of 2014, and with it the relative protection that religious and ethnic minorities enjoyed in the Middle East. The Islamic State of Iraq, or ISIL, claims one of the goals of its insurgency is to reverse the effects of this agreement. So though you have ISIL, ISIS, and all them, they're still fighting because of this agreement that was made way back during the early 1900s.
Yep.
way back during that first war. So all this stuff has culminated from World War I, you got World War II with Hitler and so on, and now you're about to have this third war, which I believe they called the First World War was to be the war to end all wars. That's not true.
Yeah.
The last one is about to be the one to end all wars.
That's right. Because now, if y'all pay attention, like this brother just said, this fight with ISIL now is to reverse the effects that have taken place during the First World War. You know, man, Esau, every time they step into these countries, if you see the history, everywhere that the U.S. has a what do you call it, an embassy set up? An embassy set up, man, there's nothing but death and destruction around it. These people are tired of living that way. That so-called democracy is a false philosophy, man. These people over there getting blown up in hospitals and all that stuff, and they keep trying to blame it on a so-called enemy or bad guy when it's the U.S. What are they doing now today? Dropping bombs from drones and stuff like that. People brought out videos where they say, hey man, these men are not accurate on where they dropping these bombs at. This stuff is no different than what you hear from the even Vietnam Wars, where they drop bombs and stuff on people, just constantly killing them, or even men, and then the troops on the ground, shit, they doing nothing but raping the women or other men and boys. That stuff comes out heavy, man. That stuff is not exempt from it neither. That's why these people are so tired of the so-called white men, because all you bring is wickedness into their country. When you claim to be helping them, and like the brother said, y'all want to make agreements and stuff, but then next thing you know, it turns out to be something totally different.
That's right.
I can bear witness to that. Everywhere you go, I was in the military, and down in Okinawa, Japan, they do not want you there. Every time I went there, they always had some either Marine or a sailor then went into somebody's house and wrecked a woman or you wrecked a child or something. They drastically and desperately want the U.S. military out of Okinawa, Japan.
Man, man, you see that place falling apart. Japan, stay having something deadly going on over there. Whether it's a damn storm, some nuclear power plants blowing up, because once again, you devils, y'all come and destroy land. You shed blood all over that land, man. That's total wickedness.
That's right. I'm gonna read a quick precept.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. So we talk about the so-called white man being a devil to us, but the so-called white man, Edom, they're a devil to the whole world. Everybody wants to see this so-called white man, who is the Edomites. Everybody wants to see him go down. Everybody's mad. Everybody got something they can go into about how he mistreated them or he lied to them. I'm gonna start back at verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself, and that's what happened with this Sykes-Picot agreement. He humbled himself. He said, yeah, we'll give you everything you want. Everything you want. Just write it down here, we'll give it all to you. But like I said, he had his fingers tied or crossed behind his back, lying, saying, no, we ain't giving y'all nothing. Not only not gonna give it to you, we're not gonna leave y'all alone. We're gonna come over here and take these lands for ourselves. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. So that's easy to see. Everybody in the world is upset with the so-called white man. Everybody, all nations outside of Edom want to kill Edom. Everybody's upset. Everybody wants to see a change. Now guess what? You're about to get that change. Go ahead with your precept.
This is Matthew chapter 24, starting at verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So once again, all this stuff that just accumulated, going all the way back to World War I, man. These devils want to come in, they want to control your water system, they want to control your resources. They know you can't pay certain debts off. in these other countries. Then they want their currency to remain dominant over all the other currencies. These are simple things that you should know in your history. Man, this is just world history, you know, if you know of these wars that go on when somebody dominates. So there's a movie I think your brother should check out, man. It's called No Escape. It came out at the end of 2015. It's a movie about an Edomite who created a water valve. Wanted to try to control the water system. He thought he was doing a good thing over there, but didn't realize that the government is doing something wicked behind all of this.
People taking the people resources.
Really, you were taking the people resources. Yeah. So what happened is the man went out there, took his wife and his daughters out there, thinking that he's going to present something good to these. I can't remember what country. I think it was the Philippines or something like that.
It's one of these. Thailand, one of the Southeast Asian countries.
Yeah. So what happened is those people got pissed off. You know why? Because they said, we've been able to survive with our own water system that we already have. We don't need your water valve. We don't want you to put us in more of a debt than we're already in with you. Then it was right next to Vietnam too. So I can't. If you look at the world map, I'd like to see what's next to Vietnam, man. It's right near Vietnam because in that movie, that people had to cross into that border.
Thailand, Cambodia.
It was.
So it had to be like
Cambodia or Thailand.
It was either Cambodia or Thailand, but around that area.
They went over to Vietnam. In Vietnam, you know, they were speaking English. I don't know why, but
you know. So what makes it more? What the point I'm making is, while this man was trying to survive when these people plotted a coup against their own government, he found out later on this is why these people trying to kill him, because he created a water valve. The man said, "Yo, it's our fault." Yeah. He said it. The white man said it right in the damn movie. He said it's our fault because we tell these people we're going to come in your country, make it better, and we want you to repay us back, but we know you don't have the money to repay it. So what we're going to end up doing is eventually taking over.
Yeah, and that's what happens to all the countries around the world with the World Bank, with the IMF. That's what they do. They deprive you of your resources, take your resources in some kind of way, and then you have to come crawling to them for a loan. And that loan has interest rates that you'll never be able to come back or pay back. So your whole country, your whole economic system turns into a slave to the so-called white man, to these Edomites.
So go ahead.
I see y'all brothers got anything?
No. I still wanted to go in on what we're talking about here. So I just wanted to make that point because now you're starting to see, man, these other nations are getting pissed off. Things are starting to get revved up now. There's what the incident just happened with that plane getting blown up, that Egypt airplane, man. Something mysterious happened to this plane. It just saw a flash across the sky. Maybe there may have been somebody important on that plane, some important type of cargo. These things, once again, it's just so happened. This happened over there in Egypt. These are one of the places that's having chaos going on right now. They tired of dealing with the U.S. They went and killed one of their own. I don't want to say presidents. What do they call them? Prime ministers or one of them. They killed off Muammar Gaddafi over there in Libya. So once again, man, because these people want to get away from, the system. They want to get away from the U.S. currency. So what ends up happening, man, these people get tired of that because you haven't shown any type of improvement as far as you creating some type of contract. So now, as the world economy is crashing, that that now things are getting revved up, man. People are creating their own nuclear weapons, which y'all claimed y'all had a contract on with all these other countries that you wouldn't even know have any nuclear weapons or nuclear capabilities. So all this stuff started off as a rumor, but now everybody's showing it off now. North Korea is showing off their nuclear weapon capabilities. They're showing off that they got hypersonic missiles and stuff now. Russia's showing man, look, the U.S. think they got something, we got something better. Because they think they got surveillance with their satellites and all that stuff. So now, man, people are getting tired. You know? So continue on. Start again at verse 6.
Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
God, so why does it have to happen, man? Because once again, Jacob's getting ready to start taking Israel is getting ready to start taking over, man. This thing has to come down, and how's it coming down? By the New World Order, the RFID